Good day, learners. So, welcome to our first topic in homeroom guidance. So, this one is on first quarter, lesson 1. So, my name is, you can call me Great Teacher Cherry, and welcome to our great community. So, for you to be updated, do not forget to follow our online platforms like Facebook and YouTube at the Great Teachers Academy. So I will be your teacher for today's session. Now, for today's session, we're going to talk about decoding the secrets of better study habits. So this is under homeroom guidance for grade 10. So are you ready? Okay, so before we start, let's reveal first our objectives for today's discussion. So number 1, so at the end of this module, you are expected to, of course, describe the importance of developing study habits. And then number 2, justify the value of study habits design as a tool in achieving optimum learning in school. And lastly, you're going to realize your reflective and ineffective study habits. So later on, you will realize ano nga ba yung mga effective as well as ineffective study habits that you have. And then what you're going to do with that effective. Ano bang gagawin mo? Itutuloy mo ba siya? And the ineffective, i-remove mo na ba? Or ano ba yung gagawin mo? Okay? So before we start with our proper lesson, I have here a quick activity. So this is a pre-assessment. So let's try this one. So I want you to recall, in this activity, I want you to recall and write a situation where you were so happy, proud, and satisfied with your school performance. It can be a high rating for a well-done job project, a wonderful performance task, or pwede rin naman yung group work or even a high score in exams in the previous grades, levels, or quarters that you had. So try to remember that situation or that scenario and then remember your feelings. Ano ba yung naramdaman mo nung mga time na yon? Happy ka ba? Sobrang tuwang-tuwa ka ba? Tears of joy? So, and reactions if there were simple celebrations or acts of joy you had. So try to capture that moment as you write it on a piece of paper to be followed by your answers to the processing question. So after you recall that particular situation, isusulat mo siya sa papel and then meron tayong processing question or guide questions later. So timer starts now. Okay, time's up. So now let's reveal the processing questions that we have. Okay. So number 1, how do you feel after the activity? So, di ba, nag-recall ka ng situation. So, ano yung naramdaman mo nung mga time na yon? So, let's say, for example, ang na-recall mo na experience that you have in your past life as a student is you got a perfect score in your exam. So, di ba, syempre, sino ba naman ang hindi matutuwa? Di ba? Pag, this one, perfect ka sa exam. So, how did you feel after the activity? Okay? Sulat niyo yung sagot sa paper. And then number 2, what made the situation possible? So, ano sa tingin mo yung reason bakit kaya nangyari yun? Bakit na perfect ka sa exam? Okay? And then lastly, number 3, so although may connections siya somehow, so number 2, but in a specific way. What specific things or actions did you do to be in that moment? Let's say, for example, nagbasa ka or nag-read ka ng notes mo before yung exam. So, pwede yun. Okay? So, try to recall kung ano nga ba yung ginawa mo. Okay? So, in this questions class, try to write the answer or your answer in your paper. So, your timer starts now. Okay, so time's up. So now let's move on no to our lesson proper. So ano nga ba yung mga kailangan nating i-break free or so this one yung mga study habits that we still have na somehow hindi effective or ineffective, and what are those study habits that we have that are considered as effective. So let's decode the secrets of study habits. So of course, diba, being a student for almost 9 to 10 years since you are in your grade 10 school year right now, you must have formed a habit of studying your lessons and accomplishing the school tasks to pass each grade level. Siyempre, sino ba naman ang hindi gustong pumasa, diba? So lahat naman kayo is yung eagerness nyo to pass is talagang 100%. Todong-todo, bigay na bigay kayo. So along the way, you got to test what works for you and what is not. So somehow yung iba sa inyo, siguro na-discover na yung mga study habits or kung ano nga ba yung mga effective study habits that you have na hanggang ngayon is ginagawa niyo pa rin siya. So it is important for you to be mindful of those patterns that brings you to your academic goals for the school year while trying to get rid of those proven to be bad for your school performance. So, syempre, pag alam nyo na ineffective siya, syempre, anong gagawin? Diba, hindi mo na uulitin yung study habits na yun. So, let's say, for example, if you are good in memorizing, okay, so, pwede din yun. Pero, yun nga, hindi naman kasi sa lahat nag-work yun. Okay? Kasi, somehow, may mga moment na may mental block tayo, so, hindi natin may iiwasan yun. So that is why kailangan pa natin mag-explore o explore pa yung study habits that we have para ma-discover natin siya na effective pala to sa akin, so pwede ko siyang gawin. So hence, we want you to bring your attention to the faulty study habits that you might still have in the hope of changing it with a helpful one. Okay, so let's reveal what are those study habits that you have. Siguro yung iba sa inyo makaka-relate. Ginagawa ko yan, teacher. Okay, so teacher, ginagawa ko yan pero hindi siya effective. So syempre, pag ganun, i-remove natin yun. So try natin siyang i-remove gradually, no? As part of, syempre, being a student, kailangan mag-aral ng mag-aral para makasunod tayo dun sa lesson. Okay? So number one is studying for the sake of doing it. So, syempre, diba, there are times, or have you ever tried to ask yourself, bakit nga ba ako nag-aaral? Or bakit nga ba bigay na bigay ako when it comes to studying? So, ano yung goal ko? Ano yung number one goal ko? Is it to get a good grades? Or is it syempre, yung acceptance ng society or ng mga kaklase. And then the other reason is siguro for college application, for college purposes, or for future purposes. Kasi you are in grade 10 now, and syempre kailangan nyo yan, no? And I know na tinitingnan din yung grades natin pagdating sa college. Okay, kasi may mga subjects tayo na nasa grade 10 na somehow may connection din sa college. So, yun ba yung reason mo? So, you need to, you need to clarify those things. Ano nga ba yung purpose mo? Bakit kailangan mong mag-aral? Or bakit kailangan mong ibigay yung best mo sa school? So you must clarify your intention or even your motivation, because if you cannot see the point in studying, it will make it boring and tedious. So syempre, hindi naman pwedeng wala kang purpose or wala kang goal. Bakit kailangan mag-aral? So if your intention is clear, then studying can be meaningful for you. So right after this session, I hope, diba, na you will realize na, so kailangan pala ng goal or kailangan ko palang mag-isip ng specific goal kung ano nga ba yung purpose ko, bakit nag-aaral ako, or bakit kailangan kong mag-study hard. Okay, so especially in times like this, like COVID-19 pandemic happened, so somehow yung iba sa atin or most of us is staying at home, 'di ba? Even yung mga teachers, 'di ba? And lalo na kayo, estudyante. So you are not allowed to go to school, 'di ba? Nung mga panahon na online class pa lamang. And then what happened is yung temptations andyan. Let's say yung mga siblings mo, 'di ba? Nakaka-distract sila. And then another thing is yung televisions. And another example is yung social media. So, can be a source of distraction. So, instead na nakafocus ka lang sa pag-aaral, hindi na kasi meron ka pang ibang gawain or household chores na gagawin. Or di kaya yung mga distractions, yun nga, coming from your siblings, coming from the social medias that you have. Instead na mag-aaral ka, magti-TikTok ka na lang, di ba? Manonood ka na lang ng TikTok, which is not good. So, kailangan talaga, you must clarify your intention or motivation. Okay? Next, number 2, studying by impulse. So, have you experienced doing homework or reviewing for an exam and doing your project without even analyzing how should they be prioritized and scheduled? So, pag ganyan, syempre, mahihirapan ka, no? If you felt overwhelmed, pag sobrang dami mo nang gagawin, sobrang dami mo ng assignments, nagkapatong-patong na, so syempre, may stress ka. So, ang gagawin mo, iiwasan mo na yun, or kumbaga, mas lalo ka tuloy it will lead you to another thing, which is siguro mag-Facebook ka na lang, kasi may stress ka pag nakita mo yung mga assignment mo, which is not good. So it would help if you try to enumerate the things to do, no, rank them according to date of submissions or even the time needed to do it. So as much as possible, gumawa kayo ng to-do list. Okay? Kumbaga, i-schedule nyo siya, yung yung mga assignments nyo, and then keep in mind that the clearer your study plan is, the more chances of accomplishing it well without feeling too much anxiety. So, syempre, ayaw naman natin mangyari yun, no? Yung magka-anxiety tayo. So, as much as possible, para hindi mag-pile up yung mga gagawin natin, so you need to have this to-do list. Okay? So, next is number 3, studying long but still unproductive. So, this is a no-no, no? Kasi, sobrang haba na ng time na this one na in-spend mo for you to study, pero parang na-realize mo, parang wala pa rin akong natututunan or parang hindi ko pa rin gets yung topic. Okay? So, of course, in studying, hindi naman pwede na hindi ka maging mindful sa time. So, you need to be mindful what time of the day your mind works well. Okay? So, this one class, this example is, I think, medyo common siya, no, for everybody. Yung pag-aaral during madaling araw. Okay? Kung effective yun sa inyo, kung nag-work yun sa inyo, kung somehow pagdating sa madaling araw, nag-work well yung brain nyo, then go for it. 'Di ba? Mag-set ka ng alarm. And then, let's say for example, 3:30 a.m. So, yung mga time na yan, start ka ng magbasa-basa. Okay? Pero wag naman sana na hanggang alarm lang tayo. Kasi may yung iba sa atin, nag-a-alarm nga, sige, mag-set tayo ng time, pero hindi naman nagigising. 'Di ba? So, ang mangyayari, wala din. Nasayang lang yung pag-a-alarm natin. 'Di ba? So, as much as possible, we need to be mindful when it comes to time. So, hindi pwedeng bukas ko na lang yan gagawin after ng recess. So, hindi naman kasi ganun kasimple yun, class, 'di ba? Na sasabihin mo yung English class, meron kayong quiz. Tapos, ang gagawin mo, yung English class is nangyayari siya or it happens after the break. So, pagdating ng recess or break time, dun ka palang mag-aaral. Which is, hindi naman kasi kaya ng brain natin yun na i-absorb ka agad lahat ng information. So, that is why, hanggat maaari, you need to be mindful what time of the day your mind works well. Okay? So, next, number 4, organizing all requirements and tasks before you start doing them. So, as much as possible, again, diba? Gawa po tayo ng to-do list. Ma'am, paano po pag nagkasabay-sabay na? Okay, so hindi naman pwede yun, class, na sabay-sabay sila ng time. So, syempre, kaya nga tayo may schedule, di ba, na fina-follow sa school. So, let's say, for example, yung mathematics, science, Filipino, and araling panlipunan, on that particular day, nag-announce si teacher na meron kayong assignment. Okay? And then, syempre, hindi naman yan sila sabay ng oras eh. So, kung sino yung nauuna sa schedule, let's say, for example, si mathematics, siya yung nauuna sa schedule, kinabukasan. So, syempre, yun yung unahin mo. Yun yung unahin mong gawin na assignment. So, yung iba naman, ang ginagawa, based or according to kung ano yung alam nila. Kasi somehow, halos lahat ng estudyante, di ba? Or hindi naman lahat, pero most of the students is takot sa math. So, as much as possible, wag nating iwasan yung mga topic na sa tingin natin parang hindi ko kaya. So, of course, you need to ask help from others. So, let's say, for example, your teacher. Pwede naman kayong magtanong na, ay, ma'am, paano nga po ulit to? Or, di kaya, your siblings. Diba? Yung mga kapatid mo, yung mga ate at kuya mo, pwede mong hingan sila ng tulong or even your parents. So as much as possible, diba, kailangan i-organize natin lahat ng requirements or tasks para yun hindi mag-pile up. So once the tasks are given to you, include them in your calendar as part of your schedule on a particular day. So in this way, you are doing it in a piecemeal, which prevents you from harboring fear of failing the subjects. So hindi naman kasi pwede yung isang bagsakan, gagawin mo siya. Na, sa Tuesday ko na lang yan gagawin. Lahat. Hindi pwede yon kasi magkakaroon kasi ng yun nga, ma-overwhelm ka sa information. So ang mangyayari, tatamarin ka na naman. So hindi mo siya magagawa ulit. Okay? So you need to organize all the requirements and tasks before you start doing it. Next, number 5. Dismissing things that you don't understand. So this is very common in school, no? Kasi most of the time, at the end of the lesson, si teacher nagtatanong, okay class, may natutunan ba tayo in this session? So syempre, ang mga estudyante, ang common na isasagot is, none so far, ma'am. None so far po, teacher. Wala pong tanong. Pero at the back of your mind, you still have this question na, ay, hindi ko pa masyadong gets to. Pero hindi mo siya natanong. Okay? So as much as possible, wag po nating hayaan na mag-dismiss na lang yung klase nang hindi natin naintindihan yung lesson. So wag, yun nga, sabi nga, diba? Wag mahihiyang magtanong. So you should ask something na gusto mo pa siyang i-clarify para kahit paano, pagdating mo sa bahay, kung may assignment pa kayo dun sa particular subject na yun, at least, diba, alam mo. Kasi alam mo siyang sagutan kasi, yun nga, na-clarify mo sa teacher. So you must be particular on the things that you don't understand in a lesson and have the initiative to deal it with your teacher during or even after classes. So, pwede po tayong magtanong sa atin pong mga teachers or facilitators. So, asking help from your high-performing classmates would also facilitate your comprehension. So, even your classmates. So, may mga classmates kasi tayo na magagaling talaga or kumbaga fast learner, sabi nga nila. So, syempre, pwede din natin silang tanongin. Classmates, excuse me, pwede ba akong magtanong on this part? Hindi ko kasi masyadong naintindihan kanina. Okay, pwede po yun. Okay? So, hindi naman po yun ikakababa ng pagkatao natin, yung panghingi ng tulong. Alright? So, again, dismissing things that you don't understand is a no-no. Hanggat maaari, magtanong po tayo. Okay? Number 6, having random notes and confusing learning space. So, what is the purpose of your notebook, by the way? Diba? For notes. And lahat ng subjects natin, meron tayong specific notebook. even your homeroom guidelines subject, di ba? Meron kayong notebook dyan sa bag nyo. Pero ang ginagawa ng iba sa atin is that, let's say, time ng math. So, instead na math notebook yung ginuha niya sa bag niya, English. So, ang nangyari, yung notes niya sa math, yung iba, nasa English na notebook. So, di ba, hindi siya organized. So, having random notes would lead you to confusing, no? Kumbaga, it will lead you to, mahihirapan ka eh. Kasi hindi mo magagamit yung information na yun for future purposes. Let's say, sasabihin ni teacher, okay, you have 10 minutes. I will give you 10 minutes to review. Eh, what if yung specific topic na yun, wala dun sa notebook na, let's say, math. Wala dun sa notebook ng math, nalagay mo pala siya sa English na notebook. And hindi mo naman yan kaagad-agad maaalala na nasa English notebook mo pala siya nilagay. So, di ba, mahihirapan ka. So, your notes will help you remember the good points you may need during examinations. So, without notes, you will need to reread and review the entire modules before the test. So, syempre, sa atin, yung iba, ang ginagawa, meron tayong keywords or key notes. So, pag hindi natin nakuha yun or pag hindi natin na-organize yung mga notes natin, mahihirapan tayo. Okay? So, remember that your notes will help you save time and easily recall the main points. Okay? So, next one, number 7, having a crunch time for the exams the next day. So, let's say for example, or na-try nyo na ba, you have experience siguro trying to absorb all the lessons for long tests or even important performance tasks the next day. So, let's say, Tuesday ang exam. Pagdating ng Monday, ang ginagawa mo, instead na mag-aaral ka, is that nagso-social media ka, nanonood ka ng mga video sa TikTok or sa YouTube or sa Facebook, no? And then, saka ka palang mag-aaral nung, yung period before yung mismong exam. Which is not good, diba? Kasi hindi mo naman kaagad-agad, again, hindi mo ma-absorb yung information in a short period of time. So, kailangan mo, syempre, it will take time, no, for our brain to absorb that particular information. Meron naman po akong na-absorb kahit paano. Ayun na nga, meron kang na-absorb, pero hindi enough. No, hindi siya enough para yung score mo is umangat or makakuha ka ng perfect score. So, syempre, pag once nagkaroon ng exam, ang goal talaga natin is it's either makakuha ng highest score or makapasa. Diba? Nandun tayo sa point na ganon. So, mas maganda syempre is yung ma-perfect natin yung score. And hindi mo yun magagawa kung hindi ka mag-aaral in advance. So, make sure to make it tidbits by setting time to concentrate and focus on certain parts of the test coverage would make your life easier. So, as much as possible, bago pa lang, syempre, ina-announce naman kasi yung exam, di ba? Kung kailan yung examination. So, kaya yun in-announce ni teacher for you to have the time to study. No? Pero ang ginagawa mo, malayo pa pala. Sige, wag na lang muna. Okay? Iwasan po natin yon. Hindi po yon effective. Okay? So, it pays to be organized and disciplined in carrying out these things. So, as much as possible, iwasan natin na mag-aaral lang tayo right before the exam. Okay? So, hindi po pwede yun. Okay? Number 8, multitasking while studying. So, ito, karamihan sa atin ginagawa ito. Diba? Pagkakaroon ng other tasks aside from studying. So, ma'am, is it effective? So, hindi po lahat nag-work sa atin. Let's say, for example, you are listening to music while studying. That is a multitasking. Diba? Kasi nakikinig ka ng music, tapos nag-aaral ka pa. Sa tingin mo, ma-absorb mo ba yung 100% information na pinag-aralan mo? 'Diba? Hindi ka sure. Hindi ka sure kasi nga nakikinig ka ng music, meron kang other ginagawa. Okay? So as much as possible, i-prioritize muna natin yung studying. So, let's say after meal, 'di ba? Pagkatapos kumain, syempre may household chores ka pa, saka ka pa lang mag-aaral. Pag nagawa mo na lahat ng mga gagawin mo, saka ka pa lang mag-aaral. Okay 'yon. Okay? Pero yung naghuhugas ka ng pinggan, tapos nagbubukas ka ng notes dyan, that's not good. Kasi nga, may ginagawa ka eh. May other things ka na ginagawa, yung paghuhugas ng pinggan, tapos iba yung focus mo, 'di ba? Hindi siya, what you call this one, hindi ka nakafocus sa isang bagay lamang. So, meron ka pang ibang ginagawa. So, that is why, siguro, meron kang information na ma-absorb, pero yun nga, hindi 100%. Diba? Hindi enough para magkaroon ka ng score sa exam na mataas. Kasi, yun nga, naghuhugas ka ng pinggan habang nag-aaral. Kasi ang plano mo, kaya ka naghuhugas habang nag-aaral, kasi right after mong maghugas at mag-aral, mag-Facebook ka na. Diba? Which is not good. So, as much as possible, iwasan po natin yung pag-multitask. Okay? Pero yung iba, yes, agree naman ako doon na meron talagang iba na kayang mag-multitask habang nag-aaral. Okay? That is good for you naman po. So you will get to appreciate the details and even the areas for improvement if you're doing a school projects of readings. You will also easily understand the concepts and ideas of the lesson if you turn off your TV, music, social media, or anything that distracts you. So, hindi naman po lahat is kayang ma-absorb yung information, no? Or, let's say, merong iba na magko-contrast na, ay ma'am, sa akin effective yung makikinig sa music eh. Kasi, pag naaalala ko yung kantang yun, maaalala ko yung information na pinag-aralan ko. Well, that's good for you, diba? So, mabuti yun. Pero hindi, again, disclaimer, hindi po yun nag-work sa lahat. Kaya naman, multitasking while studying is a no-no pa din. Okay? I-prioritize po natin ang pag-aaral. Okay? Next and last, no? This will be the last, repeating the ineffective study habits and mistake. So, syempre, diba, as we go along the lesson, meron siguro sa inyo nare-realize na, hindi pala effective yon. Oo nga, no, hindi pala siya effective kasi mababa yung mga score exams ko. So, syempre, as much as possible, kung na-realize nyo ngayon pa lang na mali niya yung, or kumbaga, hindi siya effective, yung study habits that you have, so as much as possible, wag na nating ulitin. Okay? So, you must use of those insights and avoid putting yourself in a problematic situation. So, kung na-realize mo na hindi pala siya effective, diba? Palitan mo na nung mga effective. So, the courage and willingness to break those ineffective study habits and upgrade the effective ones. Kung sa tingin nyo, effective sa inyo yung pag-aaral sa madaling araw, then go for it. Diba? Kung sa tingin nyo, effective sa inyo yung, so this one, yung pag-multitask, okay lang yun, go for it. Kung sa tingin nyo, effective sa inyo yun. Pero kung hindi, syempre, wag nyo na pong ulitin. Okay? Hindi, kumbaga, i-crash out na natin yun and palitan natin na effective ones. Okay? So, that would be the last. Okay? So, for our post-assessment class, okay, so I have here an activity, no? This is a short activity. So, post-assessment questions. Among the study habits that you have, write an experience where it proved to be effective in attaining your desired grades and how can you still improve it in grade 10. So, kung sa tingin nyo effective yon, isulat nyo siya, write your answer on a piece of paper. So, again, kung sa tingin nyo effective yung study habits that you have, sulat nyo siya sa papel and then how are you going to improve it pagdating netong grade 10 nyo na year. Okay, so your timer starts now. Alright, time's up. So, I hope nakasulat na kayo sa papel, no? So, again, ang isusulat niyo lang po dyan is those effective and then how you're going to improve it pagdating itong grade 10. Okay? And then, last activity for the last one, reflection time. On a short bond paper, draw a symbol that would remind you to become a better student this year. So it could be something that will direct you to break the faulty study habits or gives you a motivation to pursue learning and finish your studies. Try to use coloring materials if available. So, drawing lang kayo ng siguro icon. Let's say, for example, ang goal mo talaga is, yun nga, makagraduate. So, pwede mong i-drawing doon sa short bond paper yung graduation cap. Kasi yun yung goal mo. Kaya meron kang, what call this one? Meron kang study habits na tinatawag. Okay? So, ayan. So, this will be your reflection time. Okay po? And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. So, again, the title of this video is Decoding the Secrets to Better Study Habits. So, once again, this is Teacher Cherry, and see you again, great learners. Bye!